Hi, welcome back. Over the past few weeks, we have been implementing uh, CRUD operation on our database. So first, we implemented the two get method, getting a list of bots and also getting a specific bot. And then we implemented insert using a post method, right? We map HTTP post to insert, and we talk about how uh, how to use transactions so that our inserts, the data that we inserts into MySQL, which is a relational database, is consistent. Basically, it follows this ACID property. It adheres to the ACID property. In this episode, what we will be looking at is the delete method, and what we will be doing is we'll be implementing the delete. So the delete actually has the same format, resource format, as as a as a get. Uh, it you need to provide the name of the bot and sorry, the name of the user as well as the bot ID. So let's start by implementing this delete method. As usual, we will create a branch, 23, okay? And just to make sure that we are check out the part 23, and I will change the my directory. And let me just open the source directory, which is this. Okay, so I will also start the server, which I've started the server. So we haven't implemented the delete method yet. Notice that we have got a get and a post. Okay, sorry, we've got one get on the kbots, and then two method post and get on the kbot. So what we'll do is, as usual, we will first of all add the delete method into our controller. So that's the delete. So this is the kbot controller, and the delete method is going to be has the same structure as the get. So let me just add the delete here first. Okay, and then I'll just go down here and I'll copy this thing. And I'll remove this. Okay, so this is going to be delete, and everything else is the same. I'll just return. Let me just return any first. Then I'll just return a null. I'll return an empty string. Okay, and then we will just print out a console log out the line just to make sure that the delete method is working. So we'll just say console info, and then we say delete bot ID. Maybe we'll start with the user ID, like that. Okay, so let's see. So the Nest is recompiling our source code, our source, and then we will see oh, sorry, I haven't changed this thing up here. Okay, so this thing should be a delete method. So let it recompile again. So we should now see under the kbot controller, we have post, delete, and get. Right. So that is done. The next thing we'll do is this: we will add the a delete bot into our persistence, into our database interface. So persistence. So it will be the same as this. So I'll go delete this guy, and instead of returning a kbot, I'll just return a boolean variable to say that if we have deleted, uh, if we have performed the delete or not. Delete is uh, yeah, okay. So oh, sorry. So delete is a idempotent method. So in other words, we shouldn't flag an error. We will not be flagging an error. We will just say, that even if you ask it to delete a bot or user that doesn't exist, we will just say, that it has been, that that resource has been deleted or not. So that's what the boolean do. Okay, and finally we will implement our method in the persistent service here. So again, it's very similar. Sorry, this is kbox. So we want to do this one. Okay, this is delete, right? And then this one returns a boolean. And then for the time being, we will just return the boolean first. Just say false. Okay, like that. Right. So we're now going to write our SQL statement. The SQL statement for delete is very simple. Say keyboard, and then we will say delete from keyboard where user ID is equals to that and bot ID is equals to that equals to a question mark. We'll be passing in the user ID and the bot ID, which will be getting from the resource, from the request. The resource name, and then we'll pass it in here. Okay. We'll now use the make query since unlike last week, where we need to perform multiple queries on a connection. In this case, the delete is very simple. It's just one statement. So we'll use our make function, which we defined a few episodes ago. Before I do that, I will add a method here. I'm going to call it delete kbot. This will hold our function, our delete function. And then I'm just going to define that here. This delete kbot equals to make query. And then it will be SQL delete. And then we pass in the pool. Okay. So this will create a function which when we pass it the appropriate parameters, that's the username and bot ID, to execute the SQL. It will first of all retrieve a connection from a pool. Yeah, you retrieve a connection from a pool, and then we execute the SQL statement that we pass in and return the result. So let's use this in the delete method. What we do? We go const result equals to this delete bot, and then we'll pass in. We need to pass in the user ID and the bot ID, and then it's going to return an OK packet. This is the HTTP OK packet. It's going to return an array, so it's going to be only one element in there because we only executed one statement. So we can use the structuring to take that result. So result is now oh sorry, I need to put await. Okay, so result is now an OK packet, and then in the result, there is a method that says the number of affected rows. Sorry. So the number of affected rows, which is this guy. Okay, so we just return that. So this will tell us like 0 or 1. So since we only executed one statement, this number is going to be either 0 or 1, right? So 0 is we did not delete, our query did not manage to delete any record, and 1 we did. So since we are returning a boolean, we just say is it greater than 0, the result here. Right. So now the method is done. So this is very simple. So let's add this to our controller. Yeah. Right. So we'll just go. We'll wrap it in a try catch block. Then we'll say console. If there's any exception, then we'll say error. As usual, we'll just print out, dump it out onto the console, and then we'll just reject the promise. Okay, we delete these two things. Then otherwise, we will execute the query. So let's execute the query first. Cons, the result, which is a boolean. We're going to call this kboard db delete kboard, and then we'll pass in our user ID and board ID. So it returns the result. So this is a boolean. Since it's very simple, we'll just go right ahead and define the response envelope, which is going to be very similar to a post method. I'm just going to duplicate this, and then I'll just call it delete kboard response. And what we're returning is a boolean value. Okay, so delete kboard response. Let's go back here and just add it here. So we're going to return a delete kboard response. So we got that result. So now we can just say, let's do this, cons response. We'll use the make query, make response function that we created, and then we're going to create a delete kboard response, and the HTTP status is going to be okay. If we manage to delete it, it's going to be okay, right? So now what we do is this: we will assign the result directly to response, which is like this response. So data is a boolean, right? We'll just take this guy, put it up here, and then we just return response. Okay, we can remove this thing now. Okay. So now our delete method is implemented. So let's check it out. Okay, make sure that we don't have any error. Right. So let's try this. We will just say delete, okay, and localhost 8080. Just say API kboard thread. I'll just say anything. An ID that doesn't exist. Let's say A B C D E F G H. Right. So of course we didn't manage to to delete any. Let's find one to delete. Select all from kboard. Okay. So let's delete this guy. So this is Fred. Okay. Okay, like this. So now it should say true because we have managed to delete it. And if we try deleting it again, it will return as false. So let's go and check if has really been deleted. So the thing that we are deleting is it's 4DA3. So if you notice, 4DA3 is gone from our table. So delete is working. One last thing, we will update the our Open API. Oh, I haven't started Open API. So anyway, let me do this first. You go the backend YAML file. The delete is under this resource. So all we do is this: we just copy this. Most of these are the same, and we return all the way up to the 200. Paste this here. Then we go delete. We change the description. Delete kboard. Right. And then the operation ID, we'll just change. We'll just add delete in front here. So everything else is the same. The response, we return a 200. So instead of saying success, we just say deleted. And we're going to return the schema. We're going to return is a delete kboard response, which we will have to define. Okay, it's very simple. It's very similar to this guy. So let me just do that. Duplicate this. and now I delete. So the only difference here is the data. The type is going to be Boolean, and everything else is the same. So let's check by using our Open API validator. Validate, and we'll go back end. Oh, yeah, I need to put an I. Right, okay, so no validation detected. So let's try and go use the insomnia again. Okay, this is from last week, last episode. I'm going to delete this guy. Okay, and now I'm going to drag, sorry, I'm going to very quickly drag the file over. Simple. The back end. So we'll drag this guy over. New workspace, add it to a new workspace, and then we're going to open this guy up. So we can see the path. So we've got a new delete here. Okay, we have the new delete which I've added. And so let's look at the defaults here. So we got a delete. So let's try this guy out. Try it out. So you put thread, and let's get another record to delete. Sorry, so we don't need that. Okay, so let's delete the first bot A B C D 1 2 3 4. I'll put here A B C D 1 2 3 4. Okay, and I execute this. Right. So let's look at the result, and we have managed to delete that. So let's have a look at the, the select statement again, and notice that ABCD 1 2 3 4 is gone. So that's the end of this episode. It's a very short episode, and it's quite simple. In the next episode, we'll do the final of our update of our CRUD method, which is an update. Okay, till then, till the next episode, stay safe.